Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's going on? How are we doing? YouTube. How are you, YouTube? Excuse me. Bismillah. We got some heavy content to cover today. I'm not going to lie to you. Some heavy content. Subhanallah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Yeah, boy. Your boy's back on TikTok, by the way. Back on TikTok sick. So make sure you go and follow your boy on TikTok sick. Where am I? This time last year, I had 80,000 followers, when they shut down my account, obviously. I am at theredmahdi Tijani. You can see my at there. It's the same. Wait. The at is there. Yeah, you can see the same. I've got 57 followers there right now. I don't know if you can see that. No, the light is. There you go. You can kind of see that. 57. We're back on TikTok sick. Make sure you go and follow your boy. For that matter, you can follow me everywhere. The same at everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok sick. Make sure you're subbed to the channel if you haven't subbed already, and please like the video on your way in. As I said, we have some heavy content to go over today. I'm taking deep breaths because when I first saw this video, I was like, oh my days, flipping hell, mate. What a mess. What a mess. What a freaking mess. There's something I wanted to cover with you guys before I started. I've forgotten what that was. It's completely slipped my mind. Wallahi, it slipped my mind. Anyway, how are you guys doing? Vegeta, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. La Frère Hood, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Sam Khan, how we doing? Adam Khan, assalamu alaikum. How we doing, guys? How we doing? Dude Desi, Habibi, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Blaze, how you doing, my man? Mr. Islam, what are you shocked about, bro? What are you shocked? What are you shocked about? Mahdi, have you thought to make advanced and professional streams on YouTube to invite people physically there or make your room more classy? Yes, it's all in the pipe works, guys. It's all in the pipe works. Don't you worry. It's all in the pipe work, inshallah ta'ala. This is not, this is a work in progress. You'd be surprised. You would be surprised how much there is to learn about YouTube on the back end. The end that you guys don't see. Like, I have a lot of respect for YouTubers, and like, much more. I have a lot more respect for the art than I did before. Put it that way. There is a lot of work that goes on in the back end that you just don't feed it as a viewer. As a viewer of content, you just don't feed it. You don't notice it. You don't appreciate it. Now, when I watch videos, I cannot watch videos the same way anymore. I am appreciative of all of the editing, the background, the noises, the sound effects, the cuts, everything. I'm appreciative of it all because I know how much work goes into it, especially for someone like myself whom, shall we say, technology doesn't come naturally to me, shall we say. I'm being very diplomatic here. It doesn't come very naturally to me at all. Bit of a slow learner when it comes to technology. Leonardo da Vinci, what type of injuries have you sustained in your lifting career? I'm going to be very honest with you. Alhamdulillah, not many at all. I have obviously picked up a couple along the way, but because I've always trained very smart, my background is in sports science. I've always respected sports, particularly heavyweights. I've always prioritized technique over numbers for the most part. And when I really started to get serious, I had a coach. And when you have a coach, he constantly keeps you on a tight leash. So long as you're on a tight leash and you are performing the exercises correctly and you're doing all of the auxiliary work, the secondary exercises, supplementary exercises to strengthen the structures around the muscles, you'll be all right. Why do you think Ronaldo's still playing today with no injuries at all? Absolutely fine. Because he does the extra work. It's quite abnormal for a player of his age to be playing with relatively injury free for as long as he has been playing for at the level that he's playing at. But he puts in that work, the work that you don't see, the work that we can't appreciate because we don't see it. But when you put in that work, you stay relatively injury free. Now, I have picked up a few injuries, but they are minor compared to some of the injuries my friends have picked up. For example, like straight pec tears where the pec just comes right off the bone. That happened in front of me. One of my good friends, Mabs, who was doing a 190 kilo bench press, I think it was 190. dropped the bar too fast, and that technique is all wrong. And then tried to bounce it back up, and his pec literally ripped off his shoulder joint where it's connected into. I believe it's connected into the shoulder, and then there was just internal bleeding all down his pec and stomach and arm. It was a mess, but alhamdulillah, he's recovered now. But you never truly recover from those type of injuries. You will recover, but you're not the same as you were before. If you guys have seen Larry Wheels, very famous Instagram lifter. Actually, that's not putting enough respect on his name. He owns a couple of world records. I mean, bona fide world records, not federational world records, all-time world records, the only ones that count, ATWRs. And he suffered a bicep tear from lifting a stone, strongman stones, and his bicep never recovered. Go and have a look. His bicep is wonky. I think it's his left bicep. It's wonky to this day. So those types of injuries, you never truly recover from them, even if it is just an aesthetic thing. Oftentimes it is just an aesthetic thing, but usually there are some functional disabilities or impairments, shall we say, that accompany that. I want to give a shout out to my sponsor, halfmoonwear.com. In fact, you know what? Before I pull up their website, this sweater that you can see here right now, okay, this and the green one that I wear, not only are they extremely comfortable, but I don't know if you have noticed, gentlemen, they give you a more masculine look. Have a look at the shoulders. What do you notice? Can you see it? I'm going to point to it. It's right. Let me get it right there. Can you see that bit there that's sticking out? The shoulders are pinched. The shoulders are pinched, similar to a blazer. Have you noticed? All right, I'm reading this book right now. Here. Okay, I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Great book, by the way. Can you see what's going on with the shape of the blazer? It gives it a squared off look. That's a masculine look, right? Bolder shoulders, they call it. The feminine is smooth and comes down like that. The masculine is blocky and broad. These jumpers give you a more naturally blocky look. So I'm shouting them out because Jazakallah khair, the brother. It's a small startup company. We've got to support the brother. Let me just share this screen and bring up his thing on the page. French company, I believe, as well. They're not even English. Where is it? Here it is. Half Moon Wear. I think their website is halfmoonwear.com. It's a martial arts brand, as you can see, jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, MMA in general. And you can pick up all that good stuff from this website here. I will leave the link. You can see I've got those two jumpers there. I will leave the link to this website. I will stick it in the chat right now. And I will also put it, inshallah ta'ala, if I remember, in the description after we have done with the stream. But for now, gentlemen, we have... You're going to get into the camera shot. What are you looking for? Okay. My cash, there's no laptop now. Yeah. You know that, okay? I'll keep these kids on lock, fam. You get me? Shut the door, please. Shut the door. She nearly came in the shot. Anyways, we have a very important discussion to go through today. And we're going to just crack on straight into it, inshallah ta'ala. So let's do this. Share screen. Bismillah. Rabbi sharah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Right. This video was sent to me. I can't remember who sent it to me. But I'm going to pull it up anyways. I'm going to mute my mic and then I'll provide commentary as we go through. All right, let's do this. Bismillah. Like that video on your way in, guys. We are having technical difficulties. Bear with me one moment, please. Yallah, ya Sidi, yallah.
Ladies, I have a huge problem in my marriage.
All right, okay. I see what's going on. 1 second. Hold on.
Prior.
All right, we had an additional cable stuck in the computer. All right, I'm going to mute this mic and play the video. Bismillah.
Ladies, I have a huge problem in my marriage. Prior to my husband, I was deeply in love with my ex, and may Allah forgive us both. We had tanantana many times while dating, but our relationship ended due to family problems. Then I met my husband. We dated, but we never had tanantana because he always acted religious during our courting. And out of hate and frustration towards my ex, I agreed to get married. When we consummated the marriage that night, he sucked in bed. Not only that, he would arrive very fast.
You know what? It's just too much to unpack too quickly. So, just to explain to you what's going on here. All right, the sister is relating a story of another sister who was in a haram relationship, and she had done daran daran. I like how she drops that. She had done daran daran one too many times in that relationship. Okay, do Desi appreciate the $5? This is not her. Let me just get that straight, guys. The sister is not talking about herself. All right, she's relating the story of someone else. The message that was sent into her. She's got quite a big. No, she's got 23K followers. Not that big, but she's relating the story of someone else. Now, this woman, the sister that she's relating the story of, had an intimate relationship with her boyfriend, had sex many times. Okay, and the sex was good. It was good. I'm just relating the story. I'm just telling you. Like my man was making her hit them high notes. You get me, bruv. You get me, bruv. So, what's the takeaway here? She has a standard set in her mind. There's a standard set in her mind. And I will add this, by the way. There is an element of excitement that is attached to haram in general. Let me unpack that a bit more. Human beings have an innate affinity towards something they can't do. All right. Tell a child you can't go over there. That's where he's going to want to go. Tell anyone you can't have this. He's going to want that the most. Right. We have this attraction to have the things that we can't have. Only that apple tree was forbidden from Adam and Hawa, and yet it was very alluring for them to eat from it. So we have this innate affinity, and there is an additional excitement attached to that thing that we are not actually allowed to do. What's my point here? Is that during the zina that they would have been committing, there is this additional element of excitement of doing something wrong that would have been attached to the feeling, to the moment. And that can create a warped experience. Particularly in the mind of a woman. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from the brother. Maybe he's, genuinely good at what he does. May Allah forgive him. But just to highlight that point, for you sisters who have done haram perhaps, and now you don't have the butterflies in your stomach. I don't get the feels. I don't get the butterflies in my stomach. Yes, just understand, part of what was creating that butterfly effect in your stomach was intimately connected to the fact that you knew you shouldn't have been doing that in the first place. You need to understand that, so that you can try and disassociate the two things, the actual act itself, and then this feeling of excitement that would have been aroused from the fact that you were doing something you know you shouldn't have. All right? That's the first point. Now, she's married. She's actually left this guy, went, bottom up, or whatever you want to say. And now she's with next man. And my man arrives quickly. My man is ready to pass on his load, his children, in a very short period of time. That's why I've gathered from what she has said so far. Let's continue.
Fast. This made me irritable, and I questioned myself often. He would please himself and go to sleep, while I stay up all night thinking, what the H did I just experience? Because that, to me, was not the dun I'm used to.
That to me was not the daran that I was used to. This is a very important point here. She didn't say that was very bad sex, that was very bad intimacy. No, she made a very specific statement, a very specific claim, which was that wasn't what I was used to. Now, clearly, if my man's arriving in 3 minutes and he's doing this on a regular basis, there's a big problem. And we're going to get to that in a second. But, gentlemen, even if you don't arrive in 3 minutes, even if you're good, Even if, like, you're doing your best to please her, you don't suffer from pre-ejaculation, you don't have any of those issues. If she's used to a certain standard and you don't match her at that standard, you're in trouble. You're in big trouble. And this doesn't just apply to sex, by the way. This applies to many things. Intelligence, height, if she's, again, what she's used to, right? A certain lifestyle, the way she lives, applies to everything. A woman, Sister Naima, Jazakallah khair, she said it herself. She said, a woman can't, on my podcast, a woman can't go backwards once she's gone forwards, once she's experienced something. It's very hard for her to go backwards. And that also applies to the bedroom. No difference. Dude, Desi, appreciate the support, my man. Never knew that sex could be referenced with such a musical sounding word. Trust me, bro. Trust me. All right, let's continue.
Since it was early in our marriage, I got quiet and put the blame on myself, and sometimes made excuses that maybe he's nervous. This continued for several months. I became pregnant with my first child, then things got even worse.
Okay, and I'm going to get into another email that was sent to me the other day afterwards. And this is now to the sisters, okay? Sisters, if you have just gotten married and you find yourself in this situation whereby you are consistently, your husband is consistently underperforming, he is arriving too soon, he suffers from pre-ejaculation, please, for God's sake, go and sort your issues out. He needs to get his issues sorted out before you conceive a child, for crying out loud, please. Do whatever you have to do to make sure that no children are involved in this hot mess at this moment in time. Please, I am asking you. Children will not fix your problems. They will only further complicate your problems if you have a very big problem. Okay? If you have a very big problem, and this is a very big problem, if this continues, and again, we can only go on her side of the story, by the way, gentlemen, we have to be careful here. We don't know what his side of the story is, but if the story is as it is being related, this is actually grounds for divorce, by the way. This is grounds for divorce. I'm not being satisfied in the bedroom. I fear haram. I am worried that if I'm not satisfied, I might go and do something stupid. That's grounds for divorce. Please don't go and throw a child into that mess. But for whatever reason, they've had a child, she's fallen pregnant. Let's continue with this story.
When we first got married, we were having tanantana once a month. Then it went to every 3 months.
What? Rude boy. I don't know what to say here. Listen, I was asked on one of my previous streams, what's a normal number intimacy wise? I can tell you 2 to 5 times a week is normal. 2 to 5 times a week is normal. All right, twice a week is normal. 3 times a week is normal. 4 times a week, 5 times a week is normal. I'm not saying 6 is abnormal. I'm not saying 1 is abnormal, but generally speaking, there's a range. Once a month, that's a problem. I believe that would be officially considered a sexless marriage, actually. Go and have a look at the Google definition of what is the Google definition of a sexless marriage. I believe, I'm trying to remember what Esther Perel mentioned in her book, Mating in Captivity. I believe once a month is officially considered a sexless marriage. If you can only bring yourself to be intimate with your partner, be it husband or wife, once a month, there is a massive problem, either with you or with her. And it's most probably with you, because especially if you're the guy, I'll tell you why I say that. Men can be sexually intimate with a woman, even if he's not attracted to her, once his balls fill up enough. He'll turn her around, head down, face down, backside up. You understand? You know how the rest of that sentence goes. Yeah? Saying it as it is. It's not ideal, but it can be done. I've known of a situation of a brother, actually, reminds me, whereby, subhanallah, he used to be non-Muslim, then he reverted to Islam. But the problem was he was used to having a revolving door of women in his life before he became Muslim. Once he became Muslim, he needed to get married again quickly because he was not used to being alone, single, not having sexual partners, many women in his life. He got married, but he made a poor choice. He got married to a sister whom he wasn't attracted to. And he actually said to me, bro, I have to turn her around. I can't bear to look at her. I can't bear to look at her. But I do it just to protect myself from haram. Peak, fam. Absolutely peak. But it happens. What's my point? My point is a man could still do it. He could still do it. Once his balls fill up to a point, it's like, man, I just need to unload this right now. Do you understand? Once a month, when you are newlyweds, there is something wrong. You need to involve whomever you need to involve. I don't care if it's family. I don't care if it's the imam. I don't care if some type of someone needs to get involved, because there is a problem. Houston, we have a problem. I don't know what the solution is because I don't have enough information here, but Houston, we have a huge, huge problem. And then for it to diminish to once every 3 months, that is definitely officially considered a sexless marriage. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And then to throw children into that mess is a big mistake. Big mistake. Dude, Desi, appreciate the $10 super chat, my man. Even if a wife doesn't cheat, can she still in other ways manifest her frustration with her husband? That's a great question, bro. I mean, look, if my man is arriving early, okay, the only other option she has, because after he has arrived, that's it. He's gone floppy until he gets over that refractory period. The refractory period is the period after a man ejaculates, whereby he cannot get another erection for a specific period of time. There is an elevated level of prolactin in his body, and that makes it basically impossible to get an erection. Typically, I don't know what the typical is actually, but typically for a healthy young man, that should be just a few minutes. For a healthy young man, a few minutes pass by and he should be fine. Should be fine to go after that. Okay, maybe there's a give or take. I don't want to put too much pressure on you young men, but give or take, let's say, okay, let's call it half an hour. That's the refractory period. But if my man is arriving early and then doesn't have any desire for her for many weeks and sometimes even months afterwards, she can't actually physically do anything with him, with his tool, if you like. She can't do anything with him. So she's going to have to handle her own business herself, if you understand what I'm saying. She's going to have to take care of things herself. And that's just not the same. Go speak to any woman who's been single for an extended period of time and who's had to handle her own business because on occasions it just got too much. And she will tell you it is not the same. There is nothing like being intimate with your man, with your husband. So technically she could, but even if she did, it's not really a big thing. It's not really like, it's not sorting it out. It's not scratching that itch. And you're going to see as we continue this. Nora, appreciate the 899 super chat, my man. Salam, bro. Speaking of the brother who had revolving door, sounds like he suffered from post-nut. My God. What a legend. From post-nut clarity. My question is, should men try to have pre-nut? No, well, it's impossible, Akhi. And the brother said to me, by the way, just to answer this question clearly, he said to me, I didn't find her attractive before we got married. She wasn't attractive to me. So he already knew this. It wasn't even a post-nut clarity thing. It was, I am used to having a revolving door of women, 5 or 6 different women a week. That was his lifestyle. We have to respect that. That was his lifestyle. He said, then I became Muslim and I had to fast. That was like, once you've tasted the honey like that, you get hungry quickly. So he took the first thing that was available. And unfortunately for him and for the sister, he wasn't actually attracted to her. It was a vessel. It was a vessel for him to, unload into. Nothing more. It's sad. They actually went their separate ways, by the way. They got divorced. I don't actually know the details of why or who initiated and so on, but I'm not surprised. I'm talking a very long time ago. This is ancient history. This is not new. This is not in the recent past. So yeah, bro, like it's peak, man. No, you should, of course, طبعاً, you shouldn't have to. There should be some type of attraction there, natural, innate attraction for her. Let's continue with the video.
I kept it to myself, and after the birth of my child, I told him he needed to get medical help. He would always say, I will, but never took the initiative. I ended up pregnant again, and I involved his family and some sheikhs. They had a talk with him, and he said he would change, but his family became hateful towards me.
Okay, I have to make this point again, especially to the young people in the chat right now. Okay, I got married at 16. I had an agreement with my parents that me and my wife wouldn't fall pregnant, wouldn't try to get pregnant at that age. We agreed to continue our studies, to finish college, finish university, and then consider starting a family. That didn't happen. That went straight out the window. When you leave two immature, irresponsible kids, is what we were. We were adults, but we were kids. To take on the burden of that responsibility without an adult taking the girl by the hand to the doctors and getting a copper coil put in, without that, you are asking a lot from a pair of young romping rabbits. You are asking a lot. That's a big ask. Immature, young, highly charged, romping rabbits. And of course, my wife fell pregnant very quickly. And within weeks, she fell pregnant of us getting married. So I'm assuming this is a young couple because this sister here looks young. And if they're asking her for advice, it means that they're in her age bracket, typically. Very unlikely an older person than this sister is going to be asking her for advice. If you are young, to the parents watching, please, if you want your young children who have gotten married, they're in their teens perhaps, and you want them to delay having children so that they can finish their education, okay, fine. You need to take on that burden of responsibility yourself. Mum, I'm talking to you. You need to take your daughter to the clinic and make sure she has a coil fitted in. Perhaps not before she gets married, perhaps afterwards. But before then, you need to find another way to ensure that they minimize their chances of falling pregnant straight away. Okay? I'm just putting it out there. I'm putting it out there because it can create big fitna in the family, by the way. It can create big fitna in the family. Big problems. Huge problems. Now, if you add on top of that the fact that they have a massive nail thorn in their side, which is this sister that she is speaking about is sexually unsatisfied, dissatisfied, because my man arrives too soon and takes a very long time to want to come back around again. Excuse the pun. Come back around again. Takes too long. You should not be falling pregnant. But again, parents, you need to get involved. There is this, we have this like it's shameful to talk about it. Yeah, but then when they go and get pregnant and then complications arise as a result of that, then all sorts of other problems arise as well. It actually reminds me of something that Brother Gabriel mentioned on one of his podcasts. He had a brother message him and say to him, my parents want me to marry my cousin or something like this from back home, but I'm not attracted to her. But I'm worried if I say no, I will upset my parents. And his response was very astute. He said to him, you might upset your parents now if you don't marry her, and they will be upset for sure. But you will upset your parents a lot more when you inevitably divorce her with 1, 2, 3 children down the line and 1, 2, 3, 4 years down the line and completely broken family ties. Because you married their girl, you took their girl, and it was in the family, and now you're going to divorce her. That's going to create a lot more harm. And how many of us kick the can down the road? We delay the inevitable. The Federal Reserve are doing that right now with the US dollar, with their own currency, by continuing to print money in the trillions. Like they will never, those chickens will never come home to roost. Oh, yes, sir, they will. It's called hyperinflation. So sometimes you don't have a good option. Sometimes you only have 2 bad options. You have to decide which one is the lesser of those 2 evils, the less bad option. All right, let's continue.
And thought I wanted to trash his name. They even said, how can you have 2 kids if you're not satisfied in bed?
Oh, God. This is a big mistake, by the way. You can have kids and not be satisfied, like seriously, think about it. It's a scientific thing. You could technically go to a clinic and be, what is it? IVF, in vitro fertilization, whatever the hell they call it. Is there any pleasure in that? No, probably quite painful, actually, and you'll become inseminated and you'll be pregnant. This is any nonsense to make this statement on the family's behalf. Oh, you've got 2 kids. You must be satisfied. Absolute twaddle nonsense. It shows you how ignorant we are in our communities, by the way. And it's probably not just in our communities. We are ignorant in general on this topic because nobody likes talking about it. Nobody likes talking about it. We have to talk about it. We need to talk about it.
So I stayed quiet and started having phone conversations with my childhood guy friend. Ladies, only Allah can judge me.
This is haram. This is haram. This is haram.
Look what happened. She tried, and I'm not making any excuses for the sister here, but I'm going to extend a bit of empathy towards her. She tried to address it with the family. She tried to bring it up with the family. What did they do? They shut it down. They shamed her. Her husband shamed her. How dare you trying to humiliate me? So what did she do? Well, she found a solution to her problem. She reached back out to her guy friends. Now, this statement, ladies, only Allah can judge me. The only time someone says that is when they know they should be judged. When you know that,
this is haram,
is the only time people say that. Yes, judgment is important. Judgment must be imparted. Judgment happens all the time on a day-to-day basis. No, it is not. The final judgment is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes. But before then, we're all going to be judged. You're going to be judged on your examinations. You're going to be judged on your driving course. You're going to be judged on your dissertation. You're going to be judged if you go to court. You're going to be judged on your credit score. You're going to be judged left, right, and center. This is an attempt to escape from accountability. She may as well have said, ladies, don't hold me accountable. Ladies, don't hold me accountable. Shout out to you, dude Desi. How important would you say sex is in the marriage? I'm sorry if I make my virginity extremely obvious. Sex is very important. The best way to describe it is the way, I can't remember who said it now. Sex is the glue to a marriage. Good sex can keep a bad marriage going for a very long time, I can tell you. Good intimacy can keep a bad marriage going for a very long time. Sex, and that's not a good thing, I'm just simply saying, sex is the glue to a marriage. It is very important. On the flip side, you can flip it. You can have two couples that really love each other. I love her. I love him. But there's no sex for whatever reason. There's no glue. There's no glue to the marriage. It's going to fall apart. It is important. There is no doubt about it. It is important.
But I ended up stepping outside of my marriage and visiting the motherland, where I spent a month of the best and loving I can ask for.
Where is AMS when you need him? I need a soundbite that goes, we don't love them hoes. No, sir. God damn.
this is haram.
Go wash your ass.
This is number one bullshit. You sick in the mind? Are you that mentally enslaved and intellectually subservient and intellectually molested and ideologically molested? Get your face ready. Get your cheeks ready. I'm going to slap you again today.
I'll bet man was slapping them cheeks. Oh, I can't help myself. I'm sorry, guys. Astaghfirullah. It's not a laughing matter. All right, let's go back to the original point that I was making. She stepped out on her husband with 2 kids, fam. Not even like on her own, on her once, with 2 children. She stepped out to scratch her itch. If that hasn't answered, if I didn't answer your question before, Abdul Hamid, your question here, how important would you say sex is in marriage? There you go. That's your answer. That's how important it is. That's how important it is. It's that important. Vegan in the city. Appreciate the £1 79 super chat, my man. Don't often agree with Mahdi, but I do on this. Well, you know what? I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. Let's continue.
When I came back to the States, I couldn't even look at the face of my husband. I keep asking for a divorce, but he keeps holding on to me. I'm at my boiling point. I have wasted 6 years of my life with this man who only gave me affection once every 3 to 4 months. And when I complied with his desire, he would only satisfy himself in less than 3 minutes and fall asleep. I'm done being frustrated and blaming.
All right. Look. There is no doubt, gentlemen, that when you are in a committed halal relationship with your wife, as you should be, you need to satisfy her. But I'm going to add a bit of nuance to that. Yeah, this is high level game now. All right, but I'm about to drop some high level advanced game. 18 plus. If you are not over 18 on this stream, please get off. Get off the stream. Yusuf, my man. Appreciate the $10 super chat, my man. I'm about to drop some game on you guys now. Okay, so get ready. Take your notebook out. Sometimes women like it when you don't please them. Yes, I said it. High level, advanced game. Super advanced, pro level. Sometimes they like it when you don't please them, when you treat them like a sperm receptacle, a cum bucket within the I know I'm getting graphic now, but I got to drop this game on you guys. I got to drop it within the confines of halal. You know, you just like grab her from the back of the head and just, do you understand? No long thing. But that's on the condition that you are satisfying her for the most part. That you are making her satisfied and her needs and physical, sexual desires are being met for the most part. If you are handling that business and you are doing that for the most part, then every now and again, a woman likes it when you pay zero attention to what she wants. Zero. But this is a high level advanced game I'm dropping on you right now. All right, let's continue. Muzammil, appreciate the $2 super chat, my man. Can you teach how to be assertive, please, for Asians? Bro, that's a whole stream in and of itself. That's actually a great podcast idea. We'll get to that, inshallah. That's a great podcast idea. All right, we're going to continue with this video. We're nearly at the end of it.
Blaming myself and feeling sorry for him. I no longer want my self-esteem to die. I have decided to leave him and marry the brother from the motherland. My question to you ladies is, what would you do if you were in my shoes?
You know what? I would love to know. I would love to know if that brother from the motherland, whatever the hell that means, would even take her. You know why? Because men have a big double standard. You know, I did an Instagram live a few months back, and there was this Arab guy who came on. Somewhere on my Instagram, you'll see it somewhere there. And you know what he said? He said to me, "Assalamu alaikum, Mahdi, enjoy your content. I'm a doctor. I'm in my mid-30s. I'm a doctor. And I know I shouldn't be doing this. I'm living in a haram relationship with my girlfriend, who is also a doctor. We've been sleeping together and doing all the rest of it. Frankly, he shouldn't have been revealing his sins like that, but he did. It's there on my Instagram. That's his call. Anyway, he said to me, but although I know I'm doing haram, I don't want to make this woman that I'm doing haram with the mother of my children." Can you imagine? I don't want to make this woman that I am doing haram with, that I am, I don't want to use the word benefit now, but he's benefiting physically, although he is sinning, that he is a beneficiary of this act. He still didn't want to make her the mother of his children. He didn't want to make her the mother of his children. That's the double standard. Yes, live with it, deal with it. It is what it is, ladies. Know it for what it is. If a man's trying to sell you this dream, oh, just sleep with me now. You know I'm going to marry you. You know I'm going to make you. You're my baby. You're my queen. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Don't believe him. Don't believe him. I know now in the non-Muslim side of the red pill sphere, they will tell you if a woman withholds sex from you, a woman who withholds sex from you, the sex is never worth the wait. They're absolutely right. In their context, specific to their context, to their unique situation, that is correct. Why? Because they don't have a concept of zina. If a woman, a non-Muslim woman, or non-Muslim woman, is dealing with another non-Muslim man and she withholds sex from him, she's not doing it out of religious reasons. She's doing it because she don't like him. So for their unique, specific situation, they are right. But we are Muslims and we have rules and regulations. Alhamdulillah, in our best interests. Sisters, you need to withhold that, tie it up, do whatever you have to do, and do not buy his lies. Because if you do give in after he has done the deed with you, he's going to have that beautiful post-nut clarity and then realize, I can't take this woman on road, fam. Like, I'm gonna make her the mother of my kids. This woman who's sleeping around, she's gonna be the mother of my kids. I don't think so. That's the way we see it. Mother. Immediately, that's how we see it. Mother. She's gonna be the mother of my children. Abdul Hamid, my man. I just watched one of Sterling Cooper's recent videos where the porn star said she says that she enjoys having her hair pulled. What you said earlier remind me of that. Each to their own, bro. Each to their own. Be careful with taking boring. Should we call it boring? As you know, too much of a yardstick of as what women like. However, Sterling Cooper is he's very experienced in that field. You know, it is what it is. So I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'll be careful with that. All right. Okay. So that is the conclusion of this video, guys. That's the conclusion of this video, and I'm about to take it into another stream that is very similar. Okay. Sorry, into another email that is very similar along this vein, you could say. But before I get to that email, I want to just hammer home this point once again. Sisters in particular, because for a woman to reach climax is more complicated than a man. Yes, everyone knows this. A man can reach climax every single time. In fact, the boat stops with him. A woman can go on pretty much for as long as you need her to go on for. She might eventually ask you to just hurry up and khalas, now I'm done, I'm finished. Like, please, no more. Maybe if you manage to get her that far, but that's no light task. That's no easy work. By and large, a woman can just go over and over and over. She doesn't suffer from that spike in prolactin once she reaches climax, or if she does, it's nominal, it's minimal. Whereas a man, once he reaches climax, he suffers that spike in prolactin, and then he goes through what's called a refractory period. That refractory period tends to be very short. If the younger you are and the older you get, the longer it can be. Sometimes in old people, like really elderly people, that refractory period can be days, where the gentleman will not be able to get an erection. He will not be able to get hard. Days. You know that period, gentlemen, after you have immediately bust your nut and, you know, everything's clear. You can see like formulas are coming to your mind and you're figuring out all sorts of equations and all the rest of it. And during that period, there is no desire for nothing and no one. It's an amazing feeling, right? It's like so much like clarity. That can last for days with the elderly. Anyway, refractory period. If you are struggling, gentlemen, maybe with premature ejaculation, maybe you have erectile dysfunction, maybe you have some type of anxiety, please seek help. I can guide you in the right direction. If you want help, don't be ashamed to reach out. There's no shyness and shame in this. There is shame in not fixing this, in not addressing. This is the result of not addressing this. This is the result. This is the result of not addressing this problem and dealing it, smashing it right on the head immediately. Don't feel ashamed. Message me. I will point you in the right direction. I have no knowledge on this myself. I cannot help you personally, but I know people who can. You see? I don't need to bother myself with knowledge when I can, with this type of knowledge, when I can point you in the right direction to experts who can help you. All right? Invest in yourself, gentlemen. Don't end up like this guy. All right. Let's go through a couple of these comments before we move on. All right. Let's share this screen to my other thing. Share screen. Chrome tab. We are here. Bismillah. All right, you guys can see that, yeah? It's a pretty long email. I've had to condense it. I've had to bring it down a bit. Bismillah. But there's a lot to unpack in this email. All right, so let's get straight into it. What I've done is this message was sent to me and I repackaged it and then emailed it back to myself. Okay, when I say repackage, I had to change a few things so that I could make it appropriate for this stream. And then I emailed it back to myself, hence why you say me, it's me to me, right? And I'm keeping the identity of the original sender anonymous, but it's from a sister. All right, this message is from a sister. So let's get into it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope this message finds you in the best state of health and iman, truly and sincerely. I have been listening and reading to a lot of your work recently, and likewise your podcasts that you have recently engaged in. I am a huge fan and genuinely agree with all your viewpoints and avidly support you. I appreciate that. I very much appreciate when I get messages like this from the sisters as well. To all of my detractors that like to say, oh, you need to speak softer to the sister and all the rest of it. No, the sisters have been spoken to softly for too long. They need to be shaken a little bit now. They need to be shaken and stirred. 25% of my audience are females. YouTube stats. 25% of my audience are females. That's telling. That is telling. Women are a bit sick and tired of being told sweet lies and it not working out for them. All right. So we need to drop a bit of cold, hard truth bombs, as Rich Cooper would say every now and again. Okay. Let's continue. I have a genuine and real life dilemma, and because the topic is marriage and you address issues in that department so eloquently, I could not help myself but reach out to you for advice. I promise the dilemma is real, the advice is needed, and the real. This is the first time I have ever sought help like this. In fact, I have never needed to. Tamam. My dilemma is as follows. I got married 9 months ago to a brother I met in uni. We only did 18 months of uni together, due to me having to take a gap year and come back to finish the rest the following year. And this time he moved on and graduated ahead of me. Hit that like on your way in, guys, by the way. If you have found this stream valuable so far, if you have found it valuable, please hit that like. I'd appreciate it. And don't be a hater and hit the dislike just because you don't like my face or you don't like my voice or you don't like whatever. Don't be a hater. Yeah. And make sure you sub the channel. Barakallahu fik. And hit the bell. Make sure you got notifications on. So many of you email me, ask me, Mahdi, when do you do your streams? And I say to them, I do my streams when I do my streams. So if you want to get on, you want to know when I do my streams, then hit the bell and you will know, because every day is different. And for that matter, I'm going to put a link in the chat right now. If you want to join the stream and add your 2 cents on topic, on discussion, you are welcome to. The link is in the chat right now. All right, the link is in the chat, guys. In that 1 year, we got along. In the minimal moments, our paths would cross. We laughed together, and there seemed to be a mutual attraction. But of course, I was practicing, and so was he. So this was never something either of us mentioned. We were just peers. Looking back now, I believe his religious commitment in such a fitna-packed environment made me gravitate towards him. Let that be a lesson to you, gentlemen. I had a brother once tell me, mashallah, this brother has been practicing all his life. He's never been off the deen, alhamdulillah, comes from a religious family. He said to me, he had never touched a woman before he got married. He said he became a fetishized object in university. Women would compete just to touch him. Who can touch him first? Who can take his touch virginity? Look at that. The more you keep yourself to yourself and fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more desired he became. The more desired you become. All right, give me 1 second, guys. During my gap year, he reached out to me on social media and stated his intention to get to know me for the sake of marriage. I accepted. For the next 15 months, we got to know each other. All right, let me just address this first. 15 months to get to know each other is way too long. It is way too long. You know, there is a concept in business. Too much information is bad information. Actually, you can use that concept for life, for that matter. Too much information is bad information. Familiarity breeds contempt. This is 15 months for what? How much do you need to know? All right. Am I attracted to you? Check. Do I like you? Check. Do we have some type of chemistry? Check. Are you practicing? Check. Yallah. What are you waiting for? 15 months is too long. I've been married 3 times. 3 times I've been married. None of my marriages from the day I first spoke to the sister, first ever spoke to her, to the day I married her, went on longer than 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Maximum. Now, I was married to, of course, I've had 2 divorces since then. And you might come back and say, oh, but Mahdi, yeah, how did that work out for you? You got divorced. No, alhamdulillah, I had a very healthy, lovely marriage for 11 years with the first wife and 4 years with the second one. And then we went our separate ways afterwards. Let me tell you, if we had spoken for another 6 weeks, that wouldn't have prevented the divorce. If we had spoken for another 6 months, that wouldn't have prevented the divorce, because the divorce was not connected to us having not spoken for long enough before marriage. Okay? Sometimes things happen and people go their separate ways. That's life. It happens. Okay? You don't need to be speaking for months on end. This is a waste of time and absolute nonsense. We got along for the next 15 months and we got to know each other over mediums such as text and phone calls. We got along and I was sure I was making the right decision to marry this man. Now that we have been married for 9 months, there are a series of problems that don't allow me to be happy. The foremost of them is that we have barely consummated the marriage. And each time we try it, it is too difficult to follow through due to a combination of pain, his lack of experience, etc., and maybe vaginism. I hope I pronounce it. Vaginism. His lack of desire and complacent. Okay, we're going to get to that in a second. Firstly and foremostly, they've barely consummated the marriage. For those of you who are wondering what vaginism is a tight contraction of the vagina pre-intimacy. It could be for any number of reasons. It could be because she's extremely nervous. It could be because she has some type of physical condition. It may well be because of sihr, by the way. Ruqya, have a look into it. Maybe you need that. I don't know. Okay, but the bottom line is, it's where it causes the private part of the woman to contract so tightly, nothing can penetrate it. It's impossible for the man to penetrate it. Okay, but she mentions as well that he also has a lack of desire and complacent attitude to sorting this out. And has made me lose respect for him, as if there is no sense of urgency from his side to engage in intimacy often, so we may overcome this. Right. For those of you who thought women don't like sex, no, they absolutely do. Yeah, get this out your head. Women also like sex, gentlemen. Shock, horror, I know. Who would have thought? If a woman wants to solve a sexual problem more than you do, there's problems, man. You got issues. You got issues because you're the one who's meant to have the testosterone, who's meant to be making you more sexually desirous than she. Usually that's you, not her. You're the one with the testosterone that's responsible for you feeling that way in the first place. You have 8 to 9 times more testosterone than her. So if she is looking to try to solve this problem more than you, there is a problem. There is a big problem. I don't know what the French toast is going on, but there is a problem. And it's starting to make her lose respect for him. You see, a woman's satisfaction in the bedroom is important. It is the glue to a relationship, to a marriage, to any relationship. It's the glue. How many women have stayed in toxic relationships because my man was laying down the pipe? It happens all the time. You see them, you see these girls on TikTok and Instagram reels all the time. Oh, my toxic boyfriend. Yeah, but he still went back for more and more and more. Why? Because my man was laying it down. My man was laying it down. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you, it's the glue. It's the glue to a relationship. However, I give him the benefit of the doubt, as I know a man's pride and how he sees himself is tied to how well he satisfies his woman. There is a lot of truth in this. If a man is unable to satisfy her physically, this is going to heavily dent his pride. And in other ways that a man serves his woman, such as, don't trip on that word, gentlemen. We serve each other. Yes, you serve your wife. You provide for her. You pay for her, and so on and so forth. That's service. All right? Yes, you do serve her. Don't trip. And yes, your pride can be hurt if you're unable to for whatever reason. So, touche to her for recognizing that. So I don't show him this and always make him feel good. Okay, respect. Personally, I believe this is a problem that can be overcome with time. And to be honest, although I cringe at times due to his approach, I still admire and love his emotional intelligence of not rushing or making big of the matter. Okay. I don't know what his approach is that she's talking about. Maybe his approach towards intimacy is putting her off. I don't know if this sister has previous intimate experiences. We didn't get to that in the discussion. I don't know. I don't want to know, frankly. But if she has, this will definitely throw a spanner in the works. But let's just presume for the purpose of this stream that she hasn't. Okay. Maybe he's just so bad at it that, even a blind person would know that this is all off. Deaf, dumb, and blind, and they still know this is all off. Something is wrong here. All right. So we're just going to go with that assumption for now. I still admire and love his emotional intelligence of not rushing or making big of the matter. The bigger issue for me is that because we did not date at all, I don't like this word dating for Muslims, to be honest with you, Ali. Or dating what? Or what's dating? Look, this is how it should go down. All right. You first speak to a sister, you meet a sister online, I don't know, drop her a DM, however you guys do it these days. Yeah. You drop her a DM. She responds to you, great. Arrange a quick 10 to 15-minute phone call. All right. This is how you go through the process. 10 to 15-minute phone call just to feel out the situation, see if there's some type of something, there's some type of chemistry, some type of indication that you can move forward. There is, fantastic. Arrange a meeting straight away with the wali. Don't waste time. Don't waste time. Get straight down to business immediately. You meet once, you meet twice, you meet thrice, perhaps, maybe a fourth time. Done. Too much information is bad information. Make your istikhara, make your decision. Either yes, either no. Move on. Too many of you are wasting too much time with one person. And this is a bigger problem for you sisters than it is for the brothers. You are wasting too much time with one man. You don't have that type of time. You're on a clock. Tick tock. You don't have time. You must figure out your reproductive problem quickly, much quicker than men. Get to work. Stop wasting so much time on a man. The bigger issue for me is that because we did not date, so not even a discussion over a cup of tea with a mahram present. Okay, you see that if that's what she is considering as dating, then yeah, you need to meet in person. Sometimes I do know someone, for example, who met a sister, he didn't even meet her. He was told there's a sister in his village who's available for marriage. He was in one country, she lived in another country. They did the nikah over Zoom, Zoom nikah, and then she flew over, and that was the first time they met. They're still married to this day. Alhamdulillah, it worked out for them. But that's not ideal. It worked out for them, but that's not ideal. See, just because something can work doesn't necessarily mean you should do it. There's a big difference. Yeah, apex fallacy. The most visible members of the group are mistakenly believed to be representative of the whole group. Just because it can work doesn't mean you should. This is not ideal. You do need to meet in person. Make sure that you actually like what you see. Make sure there's some type of chemistry. You can get along with each other. There's something there. You can't replace that with this electronic device stuff. Not even like FaceTime. You need to be able to in person see that person, feel them out in person. All right. Oh, my eyes. I want that turned. All right. Where are we? I'm starting to realize that speaking on the phone is not good enough. Yes, for getting to know anyone. And in fact, the first few days after marriage, I knew that there is no attraction or connection between us. Oh dear. Conversations feel forced and romance feels awkward. However, he is respectful and religiously committed. He is also beautiful in his mannerisms and how he is with others. This creates a lonely feeling within my heart, as those around me who have had issues with their marriage were always down to hostility, fights, and aggression. Whereas my situation feels difficult to deal with, as on paper, we should be working just fine. This speaks to what I said earlier, that sex, intimacy, is the glue of a relationship. It is the glue. And she can acknowledge, she openly and readily acknowledges that this brother has a lot of positive qualities. Why can't I just, why can't I just like him? Why can't I just forget about the fine, we don't have great sexual stuff, but why can't I just like him anyway? Because he's so good. Sex is the glue of a marriage. It's very important. You cannot underestimate it. SubhanAllah. I know that the most important traits for a happy home are not always love. Rather, respect, deen, and a commitment to serve the family. Okay, good, on point. However, intimacy is not connected to love, by the way. Yeah, let me just quick education point. You do not need to love someone to be able to feel sexual attraction towards them. Hence why we have the porn industry. Yeah, men are not rubbing one off to porn actresses that they love. Same goes for women. A woman can also be intimate with a man that she doesn't love. Lo and behold, yes, she meets him at a club or wherever the case may be, and one thing leads to the next, and next thing you know, they're getting it off in the bathroom or wherever. One night stands. That's where it comes from. Can you fall in love in a second? It's very unlikely. Can you fall in love in a single encounter? It's very unlikely. She saw him, she was aroused by him, and she wanted to do the deed with him. She wanted his seed. So you don't have to be in love with someone to want to be physically attracted to them. And the opposite is also true. You can say in the reverse way. You can love someone and not be physically attracted to them. The pendulum swings both ways, as she is experiencing here. While respect, deen, and commitment to serve the family, we both have this for each other. However, I am fearful to start a family with someone whom I don't feel much for, as I don't want resentment. By feel, I'm presuming she's talking about desire, and I guess that's affecting her ability to love him as well. I don't want resentment to build for the father of my future children. Hence, I am avoiding kids till this issue can be resolved between us organically. Smart. Yes, this is smart. I am glad that she has done this, because children only complicate your affairs. They don't make it easier if you've got a big problem going on. All right. Where are we? I feel, although he can sense my coldness and lack of love, each day I pray Allah opens my heart to him. I have, since childhood, made dua for a good husband, and I know that he is most merciful, and that one way or another the dua will be answered. He is now asking and pressuring me for a child, subhanAllah, which makes no sense to me, because there is no way I wish to have a child with someone I have not intimately connected with. Okay, I'm going to just spitball here. I'm going to give my postulations. All right, I'm going to theorize. I have a feeling that he is sensing her coldness, her withdrawal, and that is starting to make him feel a little needy. And he has done the math in his head, the bro science, that if I can lock her down with a child, she's much less likely to leave, which is true. Not impossible, but it's true. She's less likely to leave. That's not a good move, gentlemen. That is not a smart move. That doesn't solve your problems. That only further complicates your problems. All right? Don't do that. Fix your problems first. I understand if your wife started to behave cold and has withdrawn from you, you start to feel a little bit needy. And you're thinking, well, you know what? If I can lock her down with a child, then that will fix my problems. No, that will put a plaster, or as you guys in America say, a band-aid on your problems. Dude, Desi, shout out, my man. Jazakallah khair for a $25 super chat, my man. Much appreciated. I have heard time and again, that even though men have greater intense hunger for sex, but women have the capacity of greater sexual enjoyment than men. What are your thoughts, Mahdi? 100% on the money. Shout out to Abdul Hamid. You are absolutely right. Yes. Women have a far greater capacity for sexual enjoyment than men. For men, we have one type of climax. One type of orgasm. Women have so many different types: up, down, left, right, center, and then you got the big old right at the top, the big one. So all sorts of flavors, and I don't want to say flavors, but all sorts of experiences, shall we say. All sorts of different orgasmic experiences that a woman can have. Yes, this is true. This is absolutely true. All right, let's continue. My real question is, should we call it quits before things develop, children enter the mix, and matters get deeper and more problematic? Or should I continue trying to work on that connection, although I don't know how something that was never there to begin with could be rekindled? Okay, my advice to you is this. You must seek help. I would definitely go down the ruqya route to begin with. But your problem might not be ruqya related. Okay, but I would definitely go down the ruqya route to begin with. Go down the ruqya route to begin with. And then after that, you need to have a look. If you're saying you've got vaginism, you need to take a look into that. Some type of stress, anxiety, childhood trauma. He also needs to seek some type of help. Maybe he has some type of erectile dysfunction. Did he have a porn addiction when he was younger? Does he have a masturbation addiction that he's recovering from, which can reduce his sensitivity towards sexual intercourse? Yes, we're going to have this discussion. We have to talk about these things. Yeah. One thing we suffer from, plagues us in the Muslim communities. We don't want to talk about these difficult discussions. But yes, he might have a wanking problem. There you go. How's that for? Filter your words, Mahdi. Shut up. Yes. He might have a masturbation problem. She might have some type of childhood trauma or masturbation problem herself, some type of anxiety, some type of stress. I don't know. I am not your guy to answer this question. But one thing I do know for sure is that there's a problem. And that problem needs to be seen to. And there's no shame in this. There is no shame in this whatsoever. Go and get your problem seen to. Because you know why? You're going to end up like the girl in the previous video, stepping out on her marriage with 2 kids and sleeping with her ex-boyfriend and having the best tanan of her life. Boy. Okay. So, shout out to Phoenix Knight. Assalamu alaikum. Let me just hit this. Appreciate the $10 super chat. Jazakallahu khairan. If an 18-year-old girl has been chatting to a young shab, maybe saying shabab, for 5 months, pursued him after he delayed meeting her wali, then offered Quran as mahar, should she marry him? Barakallahu fiqh. My man's got game. But gentlemen, this is what you're looking for. This is what you call genuine burning desire. Now, genuine burning desire. I am not saying she should marry him. Okay? Be careful of what you snip it out and put it on social media. I'm not saying she should marry him. I'm simply saying a woman, when she is really into you, she will want to pay you to take her, rude boy. What are you talking about? $50,000 mahar, my foot.
Go wash your ass.
She will want to pay you to take her. That is called genuine burning desire. Okay? Now, should he marry bro? There's not enough information in this question. Allah, is the brother a good brother? Is he a good brother? He delayed meeting her wali. What were his reasons? Maybe he was shy. Maybe he wasn't financially ready and he felt ashamed. What were the reasons? Or maybe he was mischievous. Maybe he wanted to commit haram with her. I don't know. I don't have enough information. But context is important. You see? Even the had of cutting off the hand in Islam for one who steals, context is applied to it. Was he hungry? Was he desperate? Starving? Some rahmah will be extended to him then. Some rahmah will be extended to him in terms of the judgment that will be placed upon him. Equally here, I say, we don't have enough context. I don't know. One thing I do know for sure is that this sister has genuine burning desire for this brother. That is what you want, gentlemen. This right here is what you are looking for. Let's continue. I am not here to brag, but I know how the relationship market is set up. If I respectfully leave this relationship, I genuinely believe, due to my age, 23, above average beauty, education and salary, technology field, family and religious commitment, I will be able to find someone that I am more compatible and suited with. That's unusual for someone to be in the tech field. As for a woman, a sister to be in the tech field, is typically dominated by men. So she's saying she's okay. Let me just a few points here. All right, she's young. She's above average in beauty because she said it with a slight. What's the word I'm looking for? She's held herself back in how much she has described her beauty. I get the impression she must be quite beautiful. Yeah, she's not trying to say I'm some drop dead gorgeous. She's holding back a little bit. I get the impression she must be a beautiful woman. She's young. She's gonna have options, no doubt about it. Were you in the tech field? You're earning good money. Nobody gives a shit, sister. I'm sorry, I gotta break that down. I got like just forget. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But you're young. You're beautiful. Your religious commitment, alhamdulillah, these are desirable things, no doubt about it. You will have a divorce on your record, however, a consummated marriage, no less. I'm presuming it's consummated. You know what? I might have even got that wrong. I don't know. But if it's consummated, even if it's not, it's still a divorce. It's a strike. So you will have to contend with that. But you don't have kids. You're still young. You're beautiful. Yeah, for sure, you're going to have options. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Right. So I believe due to my age, my beauty, and so on, and my religious commitment and my family, I will be able to find someone that I am more compatible and suited with. I don't want to create problems from thin air and traumatize an innocent soul just to end the marriage, as some people do when I know deep down that he is a good man. I merely want the best for myself and the best for him. So as you can see, like, there's no real resentment here. There's no real ill feeling that she has for him. She acknowledges that he's a good man. The only problem that they're having is physically related, sexually related. And when I say only, that's not to undermine how important the problem is. That's a big problem. And this is what I'm saying to you guys. Look how serious the problem is. Look how serious the problem is. Prodigy, I see you there in the chat. Are we bringing you on soon, inshallah? For those of you, by the way, who want to join the stream and you want to come on, you can chat to me in person. I have just put the link in the chat right now. So she acknowledges that there's no major problems between them, although they don't really have a great connection or relationship or whatever the case may be. But she acknowledges he's a good man. Still, the glue's not there. I would add to that because they don't have a decent, good intimate relationship, physical relationship, sexual relationship, that is actually impacting and affecting their ability to connect outside of the bedroom or the kitchen workplace or the coffee table or the sofa. Do you understand? I would argue that that's affecting their ability to connect, because when you have that problem there, it's like a big elephant in the room. You can't like pretend to joke and laugh and be like, oh yeah, everything's great, when you've got that big fat giant elephant that you have yet to address. I am always commended for my ability to love deeply and how those around me always feel loved by me. It tears me apart to know I am struggling to give the love I know I can give. This is very important. This is very important, guys. She's describing herself as naturally a loving woman. If a loving woman, and I'm just gonna have to take her word for it. I don't know her, but I'm just gonna have to take her word for it. If a loving woman is struggling to love a man, there's big problems. And there's no doubt that this is connected to their lack of intimate experiences, positive intimate experiences. No doubt whatsoever. Dude, Desi, my man. Okay, I know you are extremely busy, but if you have time, do please watch the video and BBC article I sent you on Telegram. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Absolutely, bro. I will have a look. If it's an article, I can do a reaction to it. If it's a video, I won't be able to because it's BBC. I'll get a copyright strike. I will check that out, my man. I'll see you there in the stream as well, bro. All right, let's continue. My sisters tell me that I am complaining and speaking from a place of privilege, as I have not experienced the real problems that can occur in a marriage. These are real problems. Make no mistake about it, guys. Yeah. Again, her sisters, it's coming from a good place. All right. It's coming from a good place. And that is, look, you got yourself a decent guy. He's a good man. He fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is providing for you. He upholds his duties upon you, aside from the bedroom, obviously. But for the most part, he's a good man. By and large, we can see he's a good man. Like, you're going to mess this up? Really? But we can't undermine the importance of having some type of sexual chemistry. It is a must. It is a must. You don't have to be Superman, but both parties do have to walk away from the experience satisfied. They do. Now, I will say this. Women who have had multiple partners tend to be more difficult to satisfy. There is no doubt about this because they have a standard in their mind. And this is especially true with the more partners she has had, because the more likely she has had different types of experiences. Now, you are up against that competition, the competition of her memory. Yep. It is what it is. You are up against the competition of her memory. But for a woman who's never been married before, even she wants to be satisfied. She wants to walk away from the experience satisfied. So long as both parties are walking away satisfied, there shouldn't be a problem. When I told her she was being shallow and narrow-minded, as unhappiness can present itself due to many factors, she said I was right. However, she didn't want me to leave a good man. See? Only to cry later for being with an abusive or stingy man. Yeah, that's true. Well, that can definitely happen. And that, apparently, I don't know the trash that is out there. Well, there's trash on both sides, I'm afraid. But I believe my problems are still valid and Allah knows best. I have put this to female people in the space, but I would like a male perspective. I know I've written much, wouldn't be surprised, blah, 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 blah. Okay. This is my advice to you, sister. Okay. Number one, you definitely don't have children right now. Right? You need to hold back on that. Number two, you need to go and get help from the right places. I'm not your guy. I don't know if you need to speak to an imam. I don't know if you need to speak to a raqi. I don't know if you need to speak to some type of physical therapist. And this applies to both of you, by the way. Yeah, you for your vaginism and him for whatever problems he's got going on. Because if he's not wanting to rip your clothes off, especially if you're telling me you're a beautiful woman, if he's not wanting to tear your clothes off and you're newlyweds for crying out loud. You haven't been married long. You need to go and get help. Okay? But don't be so hasty in looking for that divorce. Don't be so hasty. Be efficient about it. Go and get your help. Go and speak to an imam or a raqi or a therapist or all of them, a doctor. I don't care. All of them. Go and get your vaginism checked out. Go and tell him to check out his testosterone levels. Tell him to get a blood check. He needs to get his hormones level checked. Send him to me. I'll push him in the right direction. Dot the I's and cross the T's. And if at the conclusion of that journey you still haven't been able to overcome your problems, you will both be able to walk away from that marriage without any regrets. And that's what I wish for you. To be able to walk away from that marriage if that's what it leads to without regrets. But if you don't do this and you do seek a khul and step out on the marriage, you will have regrets. You will for sure. So go and get that help. Go and pattern up and get that help, inshallah. If you guys want to join the stream, you're welcome to. Prodigy, I've just put the link in the chat. Feel free to join the stream. Prodigy, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Prodigy, yeah? Okay. Vegans, this is Vegeta. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Oh, okay, sister.
Yeah, sister. No, so I agree with you. I mean, what you've been talking about the women needing intimacy, and women are told, sisters are told, to stay away from the haram, stay away from sinner, which we all know why we need to do that. So then you get married, you do everything right.
Vegan, first of all, sorry, how old are you?
I'm old. I'm 38.
Okay, that's fine. I'm trying to make sure that you're over 18, that's all.
No, I'm over 18 now. I just sound young. No. And I've known sisters who obviously are younger than me and have got married, and they have problems in the in the bedroom department. So but yes, what I was saying is, you're good. If you live your life as a good sister, you stay away from the zina, you get married, and then it's like it's not what you thought it was going to be. That kind of, I wouldn't say a disappointment, but it's
Can I just ask you a frank question, sister? No judgment. Are you speaking from experience here? Nobody knows who you are.
I suppose so. Yeah.
All right. Tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so, and I've known other sisters as well who say this, where they try to approach your husband to say, I know, things aren't going great in the bedroom, whatever. But then you get the stonewall face from the husband, who will say, we can't talk about such things. It's haram.
What's haram?
And
what's
so
haram?
then you're left feeling
vegan. What's haram to talk about?
Sex.
Why is it haram
what you want, what you don't want, etc. The husband would say to you,
"Why is that haram? Why is that haram?"
Well, I know, I know it's not, but I mean, a lot of sisters, they would say this is the response that they get from their husbands. The husband is not open enough to if your husband's not open enough to talk to his wife about this stuff, you know, there's going to be a lot of problems.
What was the issue that you faced yourself in your experience?
Well, not being able to please the woman, his wife.
And did that result in divorce?
In some sisters it has.
I'm talking about you specifically.
Myself, no.
Okay,
Alhamdulillah, I'm married and I
Okay,
have children and everything, but
okay, alhamdulillah. Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is
still...
this, sister. The bottom line is this: is that this is a serious issue, and if an amicable solution is not reached, it's grounds for divorce. Point blank, period. You know, and that's why I thoroughly recommend, especially if we're dealing with newlyweds now. If you're having this problem right off the rip, it's not going to get any better by throwing kids into the picture.
No, I agree with that. Having children, it changes everything. I mean, you know yourself, Maddie, that when you've got a newborn screaming baby in the house, everything's completely different. But I think there should be more support for sisters who who are newlyweds. I mean, I do my bit.
What I say is this: is that we need to get over this shame thing. Yes, we need to talk about this in a manner that is befitting for us as Muslims. We don't want to shame the family, and we want to be careful and so on. But that doesn't mean you should shut your mouth and stay silent, because otherwise you could end out. I don't know if you saw the beginning of this stream, but you could end up like the sister we had at the beginning of this stream, who actually stepped out on her marriage to go and get, as she quote, and I'm quoting, the best danan of her life with her ex-boyfriend. That's what can happen. You see?
I mean, I would just say to a lot of the guys that are, in the chat, to what's his the brother that you spoke to, was it Gabriel Al-Romani?
Yeah.
Him and the other guys, they done a intimacy series.
Okay.
They should watch that, because they went into quite good depth about it, and
I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on it. But okay.
Oh, you should. I mean, it is quite. I wouldn't say it's interesting, but I mean, it's beneficial to non-married brothers.
Tamam. Khair. Yalla. Shukran, sister. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Jazakallah khair. It's not a joke, man. Wallahi, it's not a joke. All right. Ibrahim, salaam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. You okay?
Alhamdulillah. كيف الحال حبيبي?
Alhamdulillah, tamam, kullu tamam. I just wanted to just speak about something in regards to, you mentioned earlier in the stream about women having this burning desire, and how when they have it instantly, then they can see if they're compatible or not in the long term. But I wanted to ask you specifically, what does it mean to have burning desire? Because, for example, if you don't know the sister and you're in a specific setting where you're most likely going to be on your best behavior, family's going to be around, how could you display that kind of burning desire which will make her think, oh, okay, I want to rip his clothes off?
It's very simple. Look, a woman who has genuine burning desire for you, she is willing to break all the rules for you. Bottom line. There is no better way of being able to find out if a woman has a genuine burning desire for you than a woman who says to you, I don't give a damn about the mahar, give me a Quran, I just want you. Do you understand? A woman who has genuine burning desire for a man, she genuinely wants to be with him, and you don't need to have a haram relationship for this to form, by the way. Yeah, you can meet once, twice, thrice, more than enough for her to develop genuine burning desire for you if that chemistry is there. And sometimes it won't be, and that's fine. You have to take that on the chin. But if that chemistry is there, yes, it can happen. She's willing to break all the rules for you. She doesn't mind. She's willing to sacrifice so much. I know, sacrifice nights, days, money. I don't care. I just want you. Now, I'm not saying you should take advantage of that. I am not saying you should give her a Quran for mahar. I am not saying you should take her up on her concessions of nights and rights and from provision and so on. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying, I'm explaining to you that that's the type of desire she has to want to be with you. Does that answer your question?
Yes and no.
1 second, Akhi. Dude, Desi, my man, I apologize, Akhi. You were literally next in the queue. I appreciate you coming on, Dude Desi. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll have you on next time, my man. Yes, go, carry on, Ibrahim.
Yeah, well, yes and no, because yes, I understand in the sense that when a woman sees,
How
you
old are you,
know,
Ibrahim? How old are you?
just turned 22, akhi.
Okay. How long have you been married for?
Uh, been about a couple of years.
You've been married for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay. And how's that been? How has that been?
No, it's great. Alhamdulillah. I
Okay.
know in terms of, game what a woman wants, and it's going good. Can't complain.
Tamam, excellent. So then what's the issue?
So this is for issues for those other brothers or for those people who are looking to get married, because I know a lot of people who've had experiences where they're like in a marriage setting where you're not allowed to really get to know her before, when it's just you and her, for example, khalwa. And phone calls and stuff, which when you mentioned before, I don't agree with anyway, because that's a form of
Hold on,
khalwa. It doesn't have,
Ibrahim, hold on. Let me just get this. Omar says, don't talk about divorce. Mahdi, don't talk about divorce so without a mufti scholar. Don't throw out its grounds for divorce so lightly. This is the qawl of the ulama, brother Omar. Go and do your research. Sexual dissatisfaction is grounds for divorce. I suggest you do your research first, brother. Yes, please carry on, Akhi.
yeah. So what I was saying is that that's also a form of khalwa, because it doesn't just have to be physically. You can be on a FaceTime where it's just you two, or you can be on a phone call where it's just you two, and that can also be a gateway for the shaitan to basically whisper to the two people that, okay, I want to know more about this person. Let's have more phone calls. And that's how people start to waste time. And this is why if you don't get the wali involved and the family involved right from the start, even after the 15 minutes or anything, before the 15 minutes, then that can also become a problem.
Yeah,
You
I
see?
agree with you, but what's your point, brother?
So the point is in Islam as Muslims, of course, we're not talking about non-Muslims. Non-Muslims, for example, you get all these channels about dating coaches, game, and all that stuff. That you can do all that, and that's obviously, it's a choice. But as Muslims, we don't have that choice to get to know and display chivalrous behavior and flirting and
Bro.
showing,
Chivalrous behavior doesn't make create genuine burning desire. And this is what I'm talking about, bro. This business of game. This is why it's so important to learn, particularly in the context of a marriage. You need to game your wife in a marriage as well. But chivalrous behavior is another word for simping, by the way. I'm not saying that chivalry shouldn't be conducted at all. No, chivalry to a degree is nice. Maybe you want to open the doors to your woman and so on. But chivalry, in the way that it is understood today, is simping. That's what it is. Chivalry doesn't create genuine burning desire. Look, the bottom line is this: no need to overcomplicate it. You can meet a sister once, twice, thrice in person with her wali, no problem. If there is chemistry there and she wants you, she'll be willing to break the rules for you. Hence why I say to brothers, if her sister's saying to you, I want $50,000 mahar, otherwise I won't marry you, you should move on from her. You should not save the money for her. Because what she's essentially saying to you is, in order for me to justify marrying you, I need $50,000 on top. She doesn't rate you for who you are. She rates you for what you are able to bring to her. You understand?
No, 100%. I agree. But I'll just end on this, inshallah. It's the fact that this is my point though. When you're getting to know the sister, whether it's whatever setting it is with the wali, whoever, because you're in that setting, you're naturally out of, respect in front of the father, in front of the family. You're not gonna show sometimes to that girl, that potential girl, that you are this burning desire man, that she's
You
gonna
don't need
fall
to,
in
bro. You
love
don't
with
need
you.
to, Akhi. You don't need to, Akhi. You don't need to, bro. You don't need to.
So what would you do then to
You
make
just be yourself, Akhi. Look, just be yourself. If you're Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, understand what you have. Loose lips sink ships. The less you say, the more mysterious you appear. Don't say anything. Speak when spoken to. Say what you have to say. Rock up to the crib, to wherever you're meeting her father and her, looking presentable. Speak eloquently, speak nicely, and speak very little. Make your words like treasure. Don't speak much. Don't say much. Don't overthink it. And if there's compatibility, there will be. And if there's no compatibility, there won't be. And that's the end of that. Just move on next. Khalas. Don't overthink it too much. All right. I don't want to confuse the audience by overthinking this. Rock up, do what you have to do. If it doesn't work, no problem. Move on to the next one. Okay, Habibi?
That's fine. Barakallahu feek, akhi.
Fiik, barakallah. Yalla, assalamu alaikum. And this is another thing, guys. I don't want you to spend too much time with sisters. I said this earlier. Oh, it's too close to my face. I don't want you to spend too much time on any one sister. Sisters, I don't want you to spend too much time on any one brother. You need to sort this out quickly. It's only opening the doors for haram anyway. Prodigy, Assalamu alaikum. Are you there? Okay, Prodigy is not in the building. Let's kick them from the studio. Kick guest. All right, Taman. This has been good. This has been beneficial. Let me know what you guys think. Jazakumullah khair. I appreciate you guys joining on as always. If you found this beneficial, share this stream with someone who may benefit from it. And make sure you like the video before you leave. If you haven't subbed the channel already, sub that channel. I will put the link for this jumper in the description afterwards, inshallah ta'ala. Phoenix Knight, my man, shout out to you. Big super chat, $100 super chat, my man. In the story of the 18-year-old girl, the boy is 21. He is shy and was scared to get married. His father offered Quran while he said, inshallah. The grandfather of the girl made sure 50k mutaakhar. I don't know what that was. I don't know what you're trying to say. That furniture, gold, wedding. Guy accepted. Thoughts, barakallah. All right. I can't remember what the Shari'i ruling is on muqaddam and mu'akhar. I can't remember if it's halal or haram. I really don't remember, so I'm not going to try and regurgitate what I learned from Sheikh Abu Suhaib on this, because I did go through it with him. But mu'akhar is a insurance policy that the family tried to use to prevent the man from divorcing their daughter. And it goes as follows for the audience who are watching. If you divorce my daughter, you agree to pay a early termination fee. That's exactly what it is. An early termination fee of 20,000, 50,000. What does that do? They are thinking in their minds that this is a safeguard to save the daughter or to lower the chances of the daughter being divorced. All I will tell you is this, is that it will ensure that your daughter will remain in a miserable marriage if that's what they are going through together. As for whose fault it is, who knows? We don't know. But I'm just saying, all that does is ensure that she remains a prisoner in this marriage, in this potentially miserable marriage. But this is particularly common in the Arab world because of how stigmatized divorcees are. It has come from this stigma. And by the way, I've mentioned this before. This stigma is not completely wrong, by the way, for divorcees. There's some truth to it. But yes, it has been at times exaggerated, blown over the top. Okay. My statement to the families who implement mu'akhar is this. Why are you giving your daughter away to a man whom you suspect will leave your daughter in the first place? You should be giving your daughter away to a man whom you are sure, beyond all reasonable doubt, that he is going to take care of her. And therefore you don't have this fear, lack, scarcity mindset. Try to put this mu'akhar in place. This is miserable. Okay, but to answer your question properly, in the story, he is shy. That was just to give you a brief background of what mu'akhar is. He's shy and was scared to get married. His father offered the Quran. The wali said, inshallah, tamam. The grandfather of the girl made sure 50k mu'akhar in the form of furniture, gold, and the wedding. The guy accepted. That's my answer, bro. And now I understand what you are saying. Fine, now I understand. I would say to the father as well who offered the Quran, I say to him, at least offer what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam offered to his wives, or at least what Fatima radiallahu anha was given by Ali radiallahu anhu, which was even less than what the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam received. I believe, because I've done the calculation once, the equivalent value in silver of what the wives of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam received is the equivalent of must be around 900 pounds sterling now, adjusted for inflation. It was around 860 pounds when I last checked about 6 months ago. So around 900, at least give that. Give that. To give a Quran, I don't know, is this young man, is he hafid? Is he special? Is there something special about him? Are they extremely poor and he shows extreme potential? I don't know what the context is. Maybe there is. But if he's a regular dude, up it a little bit. The fact that the other family have agreed to this, that's an indication that the other family see potential in this young man. And if the other family are happy with it, so be it. But if they are asking for 50k mu'akhar, and this is the insurance policy they're trying to put on the end, I will simply say to them this. Ask for a proper mahar. the mahar of the Prophet ﷺ, or mahar Fatimi even, and get rid of this mu'akhar. And if you are hesitant to get rid of this mu'akhar, then don't give your daughter away. Although you might be causing a fitna there. If you are preventing two good people from marrying each other, you might be causing a fitna there. So get rid of this mentality, full stop. It's a lack and scarcity mentality. This business of mu'akhar comes from lack and scarcity. If I am going to tell a young man that you can have my daughter, but if you divorce her, you're going to have to pay her $50,000, £50,000. I'll be thinking to myself, but why would I give her to you in the first place if I'm thinking like this? Do you understand? You should not be harboring those doubts and worries of this young man in the first place. That's the root of your problem. That's the root of the problem. And isn't it interesting, by the way, guys? There's no such thing as a mu'akhar for a man. Only for a woman. Why do you think that is? Once again, it's like alimony. Why are women so big on fighting for their rights in court for alimony? To receive money from their husband for an extended, prolonged period of time after they get a divorce. Because on some level of consciousness, a woman knows that her primary value to the marriage market is intimately connected to her youth, beauty, fertility, all of those things that are not in her control. That's why they ask for such a big mu'akhar, to ensure her security post-divorce. Akhi Yusuf, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my man.
Wa alaikum assalam. What's going on, bro?
Alhamdulillah. Pleasure to have you here, Akhi.
Likewise, Akhi. Likewise, alhamdulillah. So, just a quick reminder, because I guess the brother got confused a little bit
Sure.
when he was basically talking about the intimacy and whatnot. Brother Mahdi is not saying, when he made his sister talk about it quickly, he's not saying that. When you feel the attraction later, inshallah, in the process, especially during the marriage, you have to bring the subject, because like you mentioned before, in fact, Ustad Jibril posted a couple of days ago that in Malaysia, they were selling like dildos in the gas stations. Okay.
Muslim country.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Muslim country, but they're all secular. So that's number one. Number two, the subject of sex. I mean, Imam al-Suyuti, Jalaluddin al-Suyuti, mashallah, he wrote a lot of books about it. And in fact, to a point that he went through the details of talking about the 48 positions.
Wow, like that.
Okay, so I have a link for you. Excuse me. I have a link for you. Mostly in Arabic. I don't know if there's enough English translation, but it's halal sex. So he talks about all the position. Man, forget the, what is it, that stupid 50 Shades of Grey, whatever. This, in fact, one of the Islamic book, I forgot the Imam's name, the Alim's name. He was saying in the beginning of the book that if you're not married, and if you're single, if you're not married, don't read this book.
Wow, like that.
Yeah,
Wow.
it goes into the detail. When I was reading, I'm like, excuse me, I'm like, mashallah, this is like, subhanallah, he brings evidence and dalil, and wallahi, Islam is so amazing. I mean, it has answer for everything, right? So this is like a taboo that people don't want to talk about, sex. And this is the problem, because if you don't talk about it, even with your children who are baligh, right, that reach the maturity, they're going to find out through different ways.
Yep.
And yeah, akhi, right now in the internet, like back in our days, back in the 80s and 90s, if you want to, find those nasty tapes, it was like jumping from a cliff.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Nowadays, just go online and type it, and it's
absolutely,
subhanallah, akhi, everything is available, not just on the internet, but also on your mobile device. Right? So when kids talk about this, in fact, look, wallahi, my daughter, when she was 11, I somehow she saw this cartoon scene, and I kind of asked this question like about this specific scenario. Wallahi, she knew more than me. I was like, oh my god. She knew stuff, and alhamdulillah, I'm very open with her. She knew stuff like, wow, subhanallah. Why? Because they have access to all this stuff. When I was studying in Mecca, in my middle school, of course, when we studied the Quran from the first grade all the way to high school, we had to come across some of these ayat about the nikah and whatnot. And the teacher went through detail. Like in my 7th grade, I remember that my fiqh teacher, this is the only class even the worst kids will pay attention, and everyone's gonna grab their hand and do like this in their lap, okay? Because he went through the detail about the mu'ashara, about how to approach the wife, how Muhammad sallam approached his wife, through like play, foreplay, and different things. So this is something very important. But if you don't know, right? If you don't know, then how would you, do it in the bed? Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
and and all this so-called Hollywood and Bollywood, all nonsense. And especially the other problem, even a lot of medical journal talk about the dangers of pornography. That it actually makes you sometime, like, even if you see your wife naked, you won't feel it. It's very dangerous.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You know why? Because your arousal level has been taken to a point so high. Now, by high, I mean you are unable to become aroused until you reach this extreme level that you are used to seeing on these porn tapes. You see, anything beneath that, you can't get it going because that's become your new normal. That's your new baseline. That crazy mad stuff you see on those porn tapes. So when you come home to your wife, who may well be an attractive woman, which is just a regular woman, though, it's like you're looking at the wall because you got used to looking at madness.
Looking at the wall. Wallahi. And I think sometimes we get confused between the concept of haya, which is very, very something Islam highly recommends, whether for sisters or brothers. The concept of haya is very important. But sometimes they get confused because, even in our deen, Muhammad sallam said, la haya fil ilm, there's no la haya fil deen. Like when it comes to learning knowledge, you can discuss about it. Of course, we're not going to go completely crazy. I mean, even sometime when I discuss this topic, I tell the sister, like, if the sister available in this room or in this group, if you don't feel comfortable, Allah, you can leave, But but we need to address it, because if you don't, this is what the problem happens, right? And I'm surprised that a lot of Muslims don't know about these traditional books that talks about the halal sex. I mean, I'm telling you, okay, I'm gonna send you a couple of links.
Send them to me, bro. Send them to me. I'd love to read them.
So sometimes if you can't find, it's a heavy Arabic, the classical, so you can go to the and find that. I'm
gonna have to get my dad to help me out there, bro.
I will help you out, but it's amazing. These are the knowledge that even the ulama spoke about, which means we should know this stuff, so we can avoid all these.
This reminds me of something one of my friends said to me the other day, and this brother, Jazakallah khair, like, he's in the background, he helps me with a lot of my work and stuff. And he said to me, Mahdi, always remember, everything that is being spoken about has been spoken about before, particularly when we're talking about affairs to do with anything to do with the religion. Don't think you're talking about new things. Everything that you're speaking about has already been spoken about. So go and get that knowledge accordingly. So I'd love to see this, inshallah.
Inshallah. I put a couple of links in the chat, because then brother Nabil from Becoming Alpha Muslim Male, he even put another book from a sister who wrote it. Maybe sister can use that book as well. But it's very, very important, okay, wallah, because you don't want the brothers and the kids go and learn from this filthy stuff, because they're actually not real. People don't understand that it's all fake.
Yeah. You hear these porn stars often say, like, yeah, I'm just faking it. Like, I'm acting a role. The screaming and all the rest of it. She's playing a role, and this is her job. Her job is to play this role. It's acting. It's Hollywood. It's Borno wood.
Borno. Yeah, you gotta be careful, man. Don't say the P word. Borno. Everything out is Borno, right?
Trust me.
Yeah, I remember one time you mentioned. I think you mentioned about Coach Kareem. He was telling a story where a brother saw a lady with the yoga pants. He we as men who feel aroused when you see women, that we just can't control it. That's why we have to lower our gaze, right? He was talking to a non-Muslim, and the non-Muslim was looking at him, telling him, like, really? You got aroused out of this? And the non-Muslim was telling him that you're not normal. And the brother's like, no, I'm the standard. I'm the normal. You're the messed up.
Barakallahu fi. And you know what? Yeah, this reminds me of the experience. I've mentioned it before when I lived in Saudi for a year. When I first came back to the UK, I spent just 4 months in Saudi teaching in Medina. And then I came back to the UK for 1 week to spend with my family before flying back again. Yeah, Akhi, when I tell you, the first thing I saw was a perfume advert on the wall. It was of a woman. She wasn't even like, you could say, and it's a dress revealing, but nothing like what we're used to here in the UK. Bro, it was like someone took a big fat wet fish and slapped me around the face with it. I was so sensitive. Why? Because in Saudi, all I was used to seeing was black head to toe. And this is beautiful, because when you go home to your wife, it's like you're sleeping with flipping hur al-ain. You understand? Because you're not used to seeing anything. It's beautiful.
Wallahi, you're so right. And I tell a couple of sisters, look, wallahi is so easy to control your husband. It's not that hard. It's not that complicated. They make it so complicated, right? Just make sure you look good for him, fill his stomach, and make sure his balls are empty. That's it. Khalas. You know what I mean? It's easy.
Belly full, balls empty, bro. That's how the saying goes.
That's it. Wallah, it's easy. Wallah, and wallahi, good practicing men, wallahi, they will treat you very well. And we'll spoil you. Right? It's easy. Wallah, it's easy. I don't know why they freaking complicated.
I will say this.
All these feminists and all this Almania. Really
I will say this, Akhi Yusuf. Hold on. Give please appreciate the £5 super chat. Mahdi, please invest in a better camera. Your message needs to go HD now. It makes a difference in terms of reception of your message. Habibi, appreciate it. The first thing I need to invest in is a better background. That's what I'm working on right now, because otherwise you're going to see my dusty background in HD, bro. It's coming, inshallah. It's coming. One thing I want to say is a woman should never strive for control of the marriage.
Exactly.
You see? Yes, your husband will be pleased with you, belly full, balls empty, but don't strive for control. It is an unnatural disposition for a woman to be in control of the marriage. The husband should be in control. She should be following his lead. You see, that's the only thing I will add to that.
Oh, exactly. I was kind of it wasn't like a good advice, but like a joking advice. That's why when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says الرجال قوامون على النساء, and I hate how they mistranslate this word قوامون. قوامون from قائم, the sayyid, like the ra'is. The authority, if you want to translate that, authority is the closest, right? But these so-called nasawiyin and feminists and all these the weak people that they use it, oh, it's a provider or it's a maintainer. Stop pushing that of the Quran. You know what I mean? I mean, it's very natural. I mean, there's no two captain for the same ship. Husband lead, woman follow. That's it. So simple.
Absolutely. 100. Yusuf, Akhi, mashallah, Akhi, I want you to shout out your stuff, bro. I know you're an SEO expert. Put it out there, bro. Tell the world what you do.
Alhamdulillah, I do. Actually, I run a digital marketing agency here in Texas. So I do a lot of digital marketing stuff, and SEO is part of it, you know.
Mashallah.
And I do a lot of, besides running the business, I also coach and train small business and startups. So if anybody has a question, stuck in something, just, you know, send me a question. I'll be happy to, give you some advice and resource and help you out.
Where can the people find you, Akhi? How can they contact you?
Look up for my name, Yusuf Chowdhury. Just Google my name. You can connect with me in Instagram, Facebook, anywhere. I'm there.
Excellent. Habibi, a pleasure. Jazakallah khair, Yusuf.
Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Yusuf was actually responsible for a lot of the building of Half Our Deen. When I had our brother Baba Ali on here, mashallah, Yusuf was responsible not just for the SEO, but many other elements of building the Half Our Deen business, essentially. So check out your boy Yusuf for anything SEO related. Phoenix Knight, barakallahu feek. Jazakallah khair for the $20 super chat, my man. The maternal grandfather of the girl overrid the girl's father, Wali, okay, and countered with 50k. Up front was some gold, jewelry, wedding furniture. Quran was deemed cheap and dishonoring. The boy is average. Jazakallah khair. There you go. There you go. I would. Okay. We have to be careful now. We have to choose our words carefully. We don't want to say, the Quran was deemed cheap, but I understand the sentiment. Yes, you want to make a respectable offer. You see, but you see, my issue now is when families start taking their daughters and using them as cash cows. Right? We need to cash out on this one. Like 200 camels, mashallah. Very beautiful 400 camels. I don't even know how much a camel is right now. Yeah, I'm just guessing. But do you understand? Look, the mu'akhir is a problem. If the brother is average, now I understand why they want that 50k mu'akhir. You see? The mu'akhir is a problem. Khair. Phoenix Knight, Jazakallah khair. If you want me to provide any more clarity, Phoenix Knight, to this question, because mashallah, you've been very generous in your super chats today, feel free to hit me up via email, theredmahdi@gmail.com, inshallah. If I can be of any further service to you, I am at your service. Barakallah feek. Muzammil, appreciate it. $2 super chat, my man. More info is bad info, even for your wife. I don't quite understand that, Muzammil. I don't understand what you mean. More info. I don't get what you mean, bro. I appreciate it. $2 super chat, Habibi. Barakallahu feek. Tamam. Yes, inshallah. I'm working on improving the delivery of this content, guys. Don't worry about that. I just don't want my dusty background to be caught in HD. So I'm working on that first. I've got a few exciting things coming, inshallah. You're going to see. But I'm experimenting with different looks. I want it to be unique. I don't want it to look like a spin-off of other content creators type of setups and stuff. But yeah, khalas. Jazakumullah khair. I appreciate you guys coming in. Make sure you like that video on the way out if you haven't already. Okay, Jawad, can $5 super chat. Appreciate it, my man. Jazakallah khair. Can you make a video on the books you have read? All right, Jawad, just as well you asked. Last year, people kept on asking me, what books do you read? So what I have done this year is, on my Instagram at the end of each month, I put up a post of the books I have read. But what I've done is I have taken a log in my notes on my phone, and I have recorded every single book that I've read this year. And I will be putting that list up. It's going to be around 80 odd books at the end of the year, inshallah ta'ala, probably December 31st, basically, if Allah gives me life till then, inshallah ta'ala. And you will know every single book that I've read. But I will say this, one thing I've learnt and realized, subhanAllah, it's not about how many books you read. It's about how much gold you can mine from each book. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Some books you read are going to be like mediocre. Some of them are going to be plain dead. Some of them will be absolute gems. Those gems, you cannot read them once. Impossible for you to mine all the gold from that book on the first time. Impossible. A good book, you should read it at least 3 times. A really good book, you need to read it about 10 times. About 10 times. And that's something I started implementing towards the latter end of this year. And when you see my list, you'll see a few repeats, books that I've read over and over and over, and sometimes over and over and over and over and over, right? And I will continue to read them over and over and over because that's how valuable they are. So it's not necessarily about how many you read, but how much gold you can mine from each one. Yallah, it's been an absolute pleasure, guys. This has been very beneficial. Jazakumullah khair. Again, like I said, I'll put the link for this jumper in the description. And oh yeah, you get a 15% discount, by the way, with my discount code, RedMahdi15. I'll put it all in the description. Yallah, Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.